Cut. Welcome back to another week of Seeking Christ Christian News Weekly. This week we have a few topics for you. We'll get started with them. The first one is from Christian Headlines. DC Comics cancels Blasphemous Jesus series after 220,000 signed petitions. First off, I want to say great job at those who put those petitions in. That's an awesome job. A few weeks ago we spoke about this coming out, and it was basically a comic strip on Jesus Christ being a new superhero. However, it's a story about how Jesus didn't get it right the first time, and he's being sent back down to learn from the Sun Man. So we know that it's just totally wrong. So it was a great job for these people to sign these petitions, and we'll read this real quick. It says, DC Comics says it is canceling a series about Jesus that many Christians labeled heresy, although the writer implied on social media that the series may resurface elsewhere. The series' Second Coming presented Jesus coming back to Earth to fight evil alongside Sun Man. The series' plot described Christ as having limitations in knowledge and power. Alright, our second one is, let's see here, I should have pictures. Harvest Bible Chapel fires founder and lead pastor James McDonald. We had another story recently on this about him stepping down, having an indefinite sabbatical. Now he is totally removed. So, we'll read this one. After announcing his indefinite sabbatical only 1 month ago, Harvest Bible Chapel announced Wednesday morning that they have fired founder and lead pastor James McDonald. The elders wrote, "It is with great sadness that we, as the elders of Harvest Bible Chapel, wish to convey to you a very recent development that has caused us to take immediate action regarding our senior pastor, Dr. James McDonald." They continued, following a lengthy season of review, reflection, and prayerful discussion, the elders of Harvest Bible Chapel had determined that Pastor McDonald should be removed from his role as senior pastor. This goes back to accusations made by former HBC elders that McDonald was guilty of self-promotion, love of money, domineering and bullying, abusive speech, outburst of anger, and making misleading statements. McDonald was also accused of self-dealing and financial mismanagement. So James McDonald was a pretty big pastor. He came out with a lot of books and things like that, and I believe his own Bible. Pretty big name in the Christian thing. So to see everything go down the way it is under his name is quite concerning to the Christians. I mean, we are supposed to represent, and we are far from representing. Our next one, let me get this one out of your way, is from the Express UK. Christianity crackdown, mob attacks prayer meeting. I do have something for this one. Mob attacks prayer meeting, several injured as Bibles destroyed. A mob of 25 thugs stormed a small prayer gathering in India's Uttar Pradesh state. Around 40 Christians were at a pastor's home in the village of Chapar last Thursday. The group of Hindus subjected the Christians to verbal abuse and physical assault. Bibles and church properties were damaged, with 6 Christians needing medical attention. So, persecution is still on, obviously. And we'll just continue with the Washington Post. Christian student challenged a school history lesson on Islam and lost in court. As a high school junior, Kaylee Wood refused to complete a history lesson on the Muslim world that she has said forced her to embrace Islam in conflict with her Christian faith and the Constitution. A federal appeals court this week disagreed, saying school officials in southern Maryland had not violated Wood's First Amendment rights because the curriculum did not endorse a particular religion and did not compel Wood to profess any belief. That's a fine line. If it's adjusting to our faith and our beliefs, then it is an issue. But a research on a Muslim country is not really denouncing a faith. It's not really having you believe in a different belief. It's a history lesson. So we got to kind of make sure that we're kind of putting a line there. But I understand the student's point. Why couldn't they do a history lesson on Israel or that culture, or maybe on Christianity of the Muslim state? But so be it. We don't really make the rules here. But it wasn't a fact of her indulging into another belief. Even though as a Christian she really didn't want to indulge in that belief or learn anything about it. But seriously, I think it'd be good if we did learn a little bit about the Muslim faith. Not that it's going to deter us, because we know the truth and we can pick apart. So that way when we are out and a Muslim does approach us, we can pick apart the Quran. That's not something that I expect everybody to do, because some people will get confused. So that's something that that we decide individually what we want to do, and take caution when we do it. So next one is Christian politics, not AIPAC money, that explains American support for Israel. So why do so many American politicians, from state legislators and governors to members of Congress to presidents, express such passionate support for the state of Israel? Representative Omar, Democrat, Minnesota, sparked a social media controversy Sunday night by asserting that the answer lies in campaign donations. Responding to a tweet by journalist Glenn Greenwald complaining about how much time U.S. political leaders spend defending a foreign nation, Omar tweeted, "It's all about the Benjamins, baby," a reference to a 1997 hit by rapper Puff Daddy. Challenge to explain by Batya Unger Sargon, opinion editor at Jewish publication The Forward. Omar answered AIPAC. AIPAC. I'm not quite sure how you say that. AIPAC. The reason that we do this is not funding from Israel. It's the Christian belief and the political system that knows that we will stand by Israel. We will stand by God's people. And that's going to downflow some Christians because they believe that Israel is not God's people. Israel has always been God's people and always will be his promised land. We Christians are the Gentile church, but the focus will go back on Israel. We can read that in Revelation. Now we're going to get into the You Call It. That told you it was probably going to be a short one, so we'll try to get this one. But You Call It. Nearly half of millennial Christians believe evangelism is wrong, new survey finds. Nearly half of millennial Christians say that evangelism is wrong. Last week, a report which shows that 47% of millennial Christians believe it is inappropriate to share their Christian faith with people of a different religion in hopes that they will eventually convert to Christianity. Despite this, Christianity Today reports that the Barna results found that millennials still believe they are good evangelists and still see themselves as representatives for their faith. If we only evangelize to those who are Christians, I'm not quite understanding where we're taking that. We have to reach all people. Some people don't have a belief. Are those the ones that we're only targeting? Some people are atheists, so we don't touch them. Some people are Muslim, so we don't evangelize to them. Some people are Buddhists, so we don't evangelize to them. It doesn't make sense. I understand that we shouldn't press it on people, but they need to hear the word. It needs to be known. That's all we have to do. We don't have to shove it down their throats. All we're supposed to do is plant the seeds and let God do the increase. Our last one is, I do have one for this one. Christian witch claims Christ followers can practice witchcraft despite biblical warnings. Also, you call it. Despite biblical warnings against the practice of witchcraft, the Reverend Valerie Love, who describes herself as a practicing Christian witch and an ordained minister of spiritual consciousness, is insisting that there is nothing wrong with Christians being witches and has recently launched a school to help Christians tap into magic. This is actually in Salem, Massachusetts, where this school is. Stop thinking you can tell people how to worship. Stop thinking you can tell people how to connect with the divine. I could tell you how many people have told me you can't be a Christian witch, but here I am. See, you can't tell me how to worship. You can't not tell me how to connect with the divine. That's between me and God. You cannot tell me how to pray, a defiant Love declared in a recent rant on Facebook. She explained that she was born a witch, but was forced to stifle her identity as a Jehovah's Witness from age 4 to 30 when she finally left the cult. I like the phrase where she commented that that was between her and God, because seriously, it is. It is between you and God, Valerie. And us Christians, we're not trying to rant on what you're doing, but we're trying to show you what's right and what's wrong. So that way, when it is between you and God, maybe you have something to stand on. Right now, you're in trouble. You cannot be a witch and sorcery and still be a Christian and serve God. You can't serve two masters. It's in the Bible. I don't understand where they get this philosophy, but they do. Another thing is, you were a Jehovah's Witness for 26 years, and you call that a cult. What do you think you're in now? And to understand where you're at now and see your past, it kind of makes sense. You went from Jehovah's Witness to this. So that is sorry, I had a phone. That is that's a heck of a switch there. You need to step out of the dark and into the light. And evangelists, millennials, this is an area that you should be evangelizing. This is a person that needs to hear the truth and the gospel of Christ. That's all I got for you guys this week. Thank you for viewing. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Share with friends and family. And always submit to the Word of God. Thank you, and God bless.